again and don't ask why. Do not even touch the cake. Don't touch anything in this house. Do you understand?
We have a darker topic.
Cursed.
Very spooky.
Hello.
Hello.
This is Two Girls, One Ghost.
Two girls, one ghost. And we are your ghostesses. That is Corinne.
Hello.
I'm Sabrina. And we have a darker episode topic.
Yes, the theme. And sorry to all of you who fit into this category, but we picked cursed.
Or curses, if you've experienced any curses. But there are a lot of things that could fit into it. It's like
There are.
you've been cursed, you tried to curse someone, you have a cursed object, we've cursed you.
There's plenty.
Curse this world!
Yeah. You have curse words in your email.
Oh, yeah, that could be a good one. Whenever people are like, oh, I hate when women curse, I'm like, well, fuck you.
Who says that?
My mom.
I don't hear that.
My mom is so ridiculous. She gets like mad when I curse, but I curse like as a part of my language. It's not like cursing at someone, right?
Right.
It's just like a way to emphasize my message. Like,
Mhm.
I fucking love this, like excitement, you know? My mom uses it in anger.
Oh.
And I think that's the difference. When people curse
Oh.
angrily, I don't like it. But if you're just cursing and you're using curse words in your language, I'm like, yeah,
Right.
hell yeah, use it.
Hell yeah.
When someone's throwing foul words at you, you don't want to be cursed at.
Right. But like, we don't do that.
No.
Well, I will say on the podcast sometimes we do. It's usually a historical figure
Sure.
who is a murderer. And then we say,
Yeah.
F you. But that's allowed.
That is allowed. And you want just do whatever you want. Just don't hurt people.
Yeah.
Don't curse people. Like you can like
And
use.
also
Don't like
curses.
put bad evil curses on people because that's sad.
It is. And I feel like we actually have a decent amount of stories where people have been cursed or like come from generational curses or parents have been cursed and they're trying to like save their parents.
Yeah. And
Too many
that's-
curses out there in the world. Do you want to start?
Yeah, I was just gonna start with one about a family curse, and it's like
All right.
gone through generations. Hello, girls, Ghost and Leia.
Hello.
I found your podcast recently and have been binging. I currently am sitting in a field with my horses, enjoying the sunshine and listening to your ghost stories. You've brought me a podcast I didn't even know I needed.
Aw, thanks.
But I thought you would like to hear about my family curse. I live in England and I come from a family of witches. My mom is a healer and her two sisters, yes, there are 3 witchy sisters. Weird runs deep in my family. They are clairvoyant and clairaudient. So each one has like a
Oh,
gift.
cool.
So this whole story about my family comes from my mother's side because my dad's family, they're fairly normal. My great-great-grandmother, Jane, fell madly in love with a man. They had a whirlwind relationship and she got pregnant out of wedlock. Gasp. That's what she wrote, not me. They planned a hasty wedding before the baby was born, but it turns out that the man was married to someone else and had been having an affair with my great-great-grandmother, Jane, without her knowing.
Damn.
She was the other woman and was left at the altar. Devastated, Jane was sent to a convent to have the child alone. And during childbirth, she was so angry with her ex-lover that as her daughter was placed in her arms, she cursed all men who had come into their lives. This is so practical magic.
I was literally just thinking that. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, and then listen to the cricket chirp.
Mm-hmm. This man went on to die in an accident where a large stone fell from a local church and landed on him.
Is that a curse or is that karma?
See, that part of it, I like don't mind. Like he wronged her, right?
Yeah.
But
Well, and he abandoned his child.
yes, but the way it impacts,
Everyone else.
yes.
It's almost like you can't break generational trauma or like a pattern because you're destined to fail. You're destined. Like
I
it's almost
know.
like you want to choose bad men then.
But it's not even
they're
impacting the
going to
people
be-
you date. C goes on to say, my great-great-grandmother Jane's daughter, named Alice, grew up to have 2 daughters and a son. The son died in infancy,
No.
and her husband, my great-grandfather, died in the war.
Oh my gosh. Why was I only thinking of it as
That's
being
what I mean.
lovers?
No, like it's impacting all men. in this family
this
line.
is terrible.
Alice's daughter was a spinster, the first one. She never married and never had any children, but was visited by locals for readings and spells. The second daughter, my grandmother, moved away, went on to marry, and had 3 daughters who are my mom and my 2 aunts. My grandfather had 2 strokes and 6 heart attacks, but did make it to his late 70s. One of my aunt's husbands died of sepsis in his 40s. My other aunt's first husband died from a motorbike accident in his 20s. The second husband died in a plane crash in his 30s. And her current partner refuses to marry her, but they've been together for 15 years.
It was marriage that, like, do you have to be part of the family?
I don't know.
In some way? Like, father, a child's, like, somehow related to the bloodline.
I have no idea.
Or connected to it. Because just him avoiding marriage is avoiding death?
I don't know, but he's like, I'm not going to test it. My mom's first husband, who's my dad, died of cancer. And my mom's second husband also died of cancer.
Oh my gosh.
I
can't imagine going, like, being a part of this family and just everyone around you. It feels
also,
like
could you imagine
dying.
being pregnant and like waiting to find out the gender? And if it's a son, like how scared you would be? And like you'd want to believe that the curse isn't going to impact them?
No, I would be throwing up from anxiety.
I only have male cousins. One of my aunt's sons has been born with a birth defect, and another son has had a terrible addiction that's destroying his life.
Ugh.
The third son was plagued with depression and sadly did take his own life.
Is there, like, at the end, do they break the curse? Okay, so everyone start thinking now as we listen to the rest of this, how to help.
When I met my husband, I warned him of the curse, but he wanted to marry me anyway and has since created a strong will and put a lot of measures in place for when he does die.
Oh my God.
So he's like, well, I just want to marry you, and even if that means I die.
Yeah.
I mean, we all die.
Well, here's the thing. Grab the most expensive life insurance policy.
Maybe that's one of the measures they put in place. I have not been able to have children, so hopefully the curse will stop with me. Although, interestingly, I am named after my grandmother. So my middle names are Alice and Jane. So we're keeping the first name anonymous, but Alice and Jane are middle names. It seems that any man that marries into our family is doomed to die, and any boys born into the family have terrible luck. However, all the women have gifts. I'm also clairaudient. My grandmother was a healer. My great-grandmother would use tarot cards and read tea leaves. Being part of such a witchy family, there are a lot of interesting things that have happened in our lives, but those are for future emails. Curses are real, and don't mess with an angry witch. Blessed be, see you on the other side. The Cursed Woman.
Okay, knowing that all of the women have these sort of witchy inclinations and powers, it does feel like there needs to be some sort of roundup of these women in the family to do something about the curse.
I know.
What that is, I don't know. Maybe
I know.
other people have suggestions, but they're also quite witchy. So I wonder if maybe it's just
the power of
like
them
just
all together.
Trying.
Yeah. Practical
like,
magic.
Have they tried anything yet?
I'm sure they have. But I think this like speaks to the power of intention. Like clearly her great-great-grandmother was so angry and so passionate that when she spoke those words, when she put that curse on them, like it was so broad, she probably didn't mean for it to impact her entire lineage.
Right.
This is why
because
you have to
she's
be like
thinking
so
of like
specific.
the current men who could harm her in that current lifetime.
This is why, like, when you're asking for signs, when you're manifesting, the more specific you are, the better.
It's the classic thing with like genies, right? Like you got to be really specific with your 3 wishes because
classic,
if you're,
if
you're not,
all those genies you're meeting,
all those genies, when you go antiquing, and you get your genie.
I will say that is one thing. Like, in addition to fearing that I would encounter a lot more, what's it called,
quicksand.
I thought I would encounter more genies.
Disney really effed us up.
They taught us happily ever after, which we know that's not true.
Also started every movie with parents dying.
And that you could rub a little lamp.
You can rub a genie.
You can rub a genie and get 3 wishes.
We've encountered no genies yet.
Yet.
But have we been on enough adventures?
Okay, so I got to keep adventuring.
Yes. That's when we find the quicksand. We have to go over the quicksand, survive the quicksand to get to the genie.
They're together.
Yeah, I'm not sure we're going to find a genie in Massachusetts.
Never say
We
never.
might find the angry spirit of an old pagan man, but...
Is that what we're about to read?
No.
Oh.
That's just my brain. We're going to read an email from Mary. called The Time I Defeated a 400-Year-Old Theater Curse by, well, cursing. Curse meets curse.
Ooh, love it.
Hello, ghostesses, and any feline or incorporeal co-hosts. I'm a fairly new listener. I only stumbled across your podcast a couple months ago now, which sounds like a long time, but I have a lot to catch up on.
Yeah, we have like 800 episodes.
Yeah, wait, when did... Oh, this was just sent in January of this past year. You do have a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I almost said sorry, but also you're welcome.
Yeah. If you like it, then you're welcome.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, then there's plenty of other things out there.
I recently listened to an episode you did on curses, and one of the listener stories was about the Macbeth theater curse. I was immediately reminded of a story that I'd almost completely forgotten. So, of course, I had to drop everything and start writing this email to you.
Oh, wow. I'm honored.
This happened on opening night.
Mm.
A musical, my junior year of high school. Thoroughly Modern Millie. Do you know that
Don't
one?
know it.
She said if either of you looking at you, Sabrina, are familiar with it.
Not.
I've never heard of it.
Now I want to
either.
know about it. Do a little Google. Thoroughly Modern Millie.
Mm-hmm. She writes, just for context, I did play the lead, Millie.
Okay.
Yeah, humble brag. But I mostly say this so that you know that I didn't ever have an option of quietly fading into the background and sneaking off stage during any of this, because I got to be the focal point.
Okay. I've never heard of it.
Before the show, one of the castmates said the name of a Scottish play because they didn't believe in curses. I wasn't there when wait, what is this? If you say the name of another play, is this the curse?
I don't know.
I don't know. We'll continue reading. Maybe we'll get answers. I wasn't there when it happened, but news travels fast backstage. I think I was getting ready. Was it Macbeth or something? Like, do you say, if you say that?
Maybe. I mean, sounds like we covered it back in the early
I don't
days.
remember anything. Okay.
That was 9 years ago.
I think I was getting ready to go on stage to open the show when I heard about it, and I was like, well, nothing I can do about it now. And up until this point, I had always followed whatever theater superstitions I was aware of, though I'm not sure I actually truly believed in any of them at this point.
But it's good to just honor them.
Right.
Just in case.
Keep the ghost light on, like do the little things.
You're a little stitious.
Well, I definitely did believe after that night.
Shit.
Almost immediately, the costume gods decided that I was their chosen sacrifice. First, I had a major wardrobe malfunction at the end of the opening number. Somehow, the front of my flapper-style dress managed to slip all the way down to under the ladies, and I didn't even notice. So there I was, standing front and center, arms raised in my final pose, unknowingly giving the audience an extra show they hadn't paid for. Oh my God, I'm crying.
Were you wearing a bra?
And thankfully, I pulled it up pretty quickly, still without ever realizing what truly had happened. And to be fair, with all the undergarments I was wearing, I don't think I actually showed anything because that shit was 3 layers deep.
Damn.
This is like your local theater group.
The one thing that happened to me during a show, it was a Sweet Charity. I was in a shopping cart in one of the scenes, and it was like the hippie scene, and we were all singing.
Yeah.
And another guy was pushing me, and in the middle of the number, he like knocked the shopping cart over, and I was in it, and I like flew out of it.
Were you injured?
I was in the moment, in the adrenaline of the show, that I just continued on.
Oh my God. Oh, geez. How many shows were you in? I feel like you have a lot of theater stories.
I was in almost all of them. Like, I literally stopped playing high school soccer so that I could do the plays.
Really?
Yeah, because you couldn't do both. They were at the same time.
All right, so almost a boob slip. Right after that, I missed a fairly major cue. I was supposed to be positioned so another character could steal my shoe, and despite never missing that cue in rehearsals, I sure did miss it that night. If I'm remembering correctly, I then proceeded to miss it every single show afterwards. There was also a minor hat fiasco a couple scenes later. Yes, it was my hat.
It sucks that it's all happening to her because it's not like she said the curse.
She didn't say it.
Yeah.
And then came that damn dress. At one point, I had a very quick costume change, maybe just under 2 minutes. The zipper on a dress that I was changing into had been a bit temperamental during dress rehearsals, but we'd always managed to wrestle it closed. Now that night, multiple people tried, and it simply refused to do its dang job. I completely missed my entrance cue, which was a terrifying feeling, but the people on stage were incredible. 2 of them were playing characters who only spoke Mandarin, a language the actors, being high schoolers from cornfields and a Walmart, Indiana, obviously did not actually speak, so their ad-libbing options were limited. The third person, however, absolutely rose to the occasion. She managed to come up with a hilarious in-character stream of consciousness soliloquy about the woes of her job, while the other two stared, shocked, giving shrugs at the strangeness of their boss. This probably went on for maybe 2 or 3 minutes.
Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
God, can you imagine this
The
woman?
panic.
Yeah. It felt much longer. Meanwhile, backstage, I had reached full-on panic mode. I finally pulled away from the growing crowd of well-meaning helpers, grabbed a crew member's jacket that had been tossed nearby, threw it on, ran on stage. While not exactly in the height of 1920s Manhattan fashion, it was perfect for the task of covering a wide-open zipper on my back. Unfortunately, the mishaps were not limited to costumes. A little later on, I was almost crushed by scenery that was brought down at the wrong time. Like, come on. That wasn't even a thing I'd ever thought to worry about before. I was upstage, behind a giant set piece. It was a building facade with large rectangular opening for windows. And while my scene partner was just downstage, singing from a ledge outside of one of the windows, I stood at the opening inside the building, but I was still visible from the waist up to much of the audience while he sang. Suddenly, I heard someone urgently hissing my name from off stage right. I glance over and I see a crew member waving frantically and pointing at above me. And I look, oh my God, this feels like so Carrie blood
Yeah,
too.
scary.
I look up just in time to see another huge set piece being lowered directly over my head. And thankfully, it was another wall or facade. So while it took up a lot of space left to right, it was fairly thin front to back. And I managed to step back out of the way just in time and then just calmly walked around.
Yeah, but it could have guillotined you.
Yeah, right? Oh my God. It turned out that someone had flipped through the script belonging to the crew member on the rails. And when he came back, the script was on the wrong page and he panicked, thinking he was late for a cue because everything had happened upstage behind the building facade and he was focused on the singer downstage. And yeah, that's how that happened. The audience never noticed, but thank goodness that the person who warned me in time and that thing had not come flat down on my head.
Thank goodness. Gosh, this is bringing me back to my theater days. Oh, I'm like literally I'm having nostalgia.
Because you did stage crew too.
Yeah, when I didn't get into the musical, I did costumes. Because I'm not a singer. But no, there was one play that we did, and I remember the drama because my scene partner was making out with like this other girl in a bathroom, and he like missed his cue, and everyone was like super mad at them.
Oh my God.
And I was like, whatever, do your thing.
Do your thing. But like in rehearsals, not
You're not in the middle of the
is going on.
show.
My gosh.
Make out after.
But that's when the energy is high.
I know.
and the anxiety-
Adrenaline's pumping. Blood is flowing. Yeah.
Okay, so there were a few small issues, missed lines, technology issues here and there, all these things, la-di-da, but those were the major incidents that I remember. And then finally, mercifully, we made it to intermission. We officially survived Act 1. Just some quick background info on me for context. High school me did not curse. I have a Catholic background and was essentially homeschooled through middle school, only starting public school freshman year of high school, and swearing was just not something that I did. Apparently, I built up a bit of a reputation for being an innocent, naive homeschooler in general. And to be clear, I wasn't the horrible kind of person who polices what everyone says or things like that, just in case you were concerned. No, you were just innocent.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the story. As you can probably guess, going into Act 2, morale backstage was not great. We were taking our places, we were getting ready for the curtain to open, and I just felt like I had to do something. So I turned to the other cast members on stage with me and I loudly whisper, "Look, I don't know what exactly has been going on tonight, but I'm going to say it. Fuck these bad vibes." Their looks of absolute shock were things of beauty. A few literally had their mouths hanging open.
Shock the people.
I hadn't even realized that this was a thing that happened outside of books. And as I turned back around to face the front, having just dropped the first F-bomb of my life, I could hear whispers off stage in the wings. "Wait, what just happened? Mary just said fuck." What?
Even the ghosts are whispering like,
"Mary?" Oh, they're aghast. But whether or not my message reached very far, it seemed to do the trick. As soon as the curtain opened, the energy on stage felt lighter somehow. While the show still wasn't our best performance, we did make it through the rest of the night without any major catastrophes or near misses, or at least ones that I was around to see, which I'll take as a good sign.
That's a great sign.
To this day, though, that remains by far the most chaotic, mishap-filled performance that I have ever been a part of.
And to this day, Mary curses regularly.
Yes. And a bit of a fun fact, here's some info on the origin of the Macbeth curse. Okay, so it was the Macbeth curse.
That faintly does sound familiar. Like I didn't know of it growing up, but I do think we must have talked about it on the podcast. Like it's coming back to me.
I think she said we did.
I know, but it's coming back to me. Like
I don't remember it at all.
Sounds familiar.
Was it our Waiting for Godot
It might have been, yeah.
I feel like that was the only like real theater themed one we did. The play features 3 wicked witches who pop in and out of the main story, making prophecies and casting spells. Well, apparently their incantations were a part of genuine witchcraft practices, and when actual witches found out, they were furious, so they cursed the show as retribution. And as a result, productions of Macbeth are famously plagued by accidents and mishaps, including several deaths, and saying the name of this Scottish play in the theater can cause similar chaos in any other production. So case in point, literally everything you just read. But there is an interesting exception. If the name is said within a show as part of the script, the curse is not triggered. That is how Lin-Manuel Miranda got away with sneaking it into Hamilton. So yeah, after opening night of Millie, the superstition definitely transitioned from tradition to personal safety policy for me. Keep being awesome, stay spooky, and I'll see you on the other side. Mary. Maybe she was by Mary Claire. She signed it Mary Claire.
Mary Claire. I'm glad that you weren't guillotined by a backdrop.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have this email and you would not be here.
And sometimes it takes an innocent soul saying something to the shock and horror of many to
undo a curse.
Undo a curse that has plagued theaters and plays for many, many years.
The power of intention, man.
Yeah.
Actually, I was talking to my dad last night. I haven't talked to him for like 2 months, and all of a sudden he like calls me out of the blue. Also, my dad has this thing where he has like, I don't know what number he uses. I got like a random FaceTime from a random number, and I was like, who is this? And it was my dad. Like, I never know.
You picked it up?
No. Then he texted me, and I was like, wait, did you just try to call me? And he was like, yes. So then I talked to him because he had dinner with a friend who I guess is like being tormented by a spirit. And my dad
would come across this person.
Advice. So here, I'll give you the story. So this man had a heart attack like 5 years ago.
Oh, man.
And a year after the heart attack, he and his family like decided to like build a new house and like move more like open land out of a city. They built this beautiful house, brand new. But I guess like for the 5 years that he's lived there, he has not had a single day of peace. And like my dad was like, oh, is it?
A single day?
Yeah. My dad was like, oh, is it
in
a
what
health
way
thing?
Though? Like what?
No, like he thinks that there's an attachment, like something on that land has attached itself to him. Like even my dad said that he saw this guy last night for the first time in like months and was very concerned about him. Like
wow.
There was like a very heavy, dark energy. And to the point where the family has now been like, we can't live here anymore. So they're going to pack up and leave this house. But my dad's like, hey, what can he do like to make sure this entity doesn't like follow him?
Right.
And I was like, I don't know. Like, yeah, we've done this podcast for 9 years, but like, I don't know. I think intention is such a strong thing. Like speaking, saying out loud, like nothing is allowed to follow you or like, or welcome to join. And I felt so helpless. Like I was like, I'm not an expert.
Because there's not like one thing that will work too. Because what could work for someone beautifully
That's what I was saying.
Won't work for the next person.
But then I was also like, what are his religious beliefs, like, or spiritual beliefs? Because we've talked about this. Like if you're not Catholic and a priest comes over to bless your house, like that might not do anything for you. Yeah. But if you are Catholic and you have a priest come bless your house, that might do everything. So,
or it's like we don't even understand the entities that are doing this. You know, like we've covered stories where an entity will follow a family camping or to the next house and terrify them, take over the whole neighborhood.
Right.
And then one day just like stops.
That was the other thing. Because my dad was like, well, how do people in stories that you've covered, how do things stop? And I was like, I feel like in some of the biggest cases for years, they try to do so many things and maybe, like one blessing helps for 2 weeks.
Or 2 days.
And then it comes back and then all of a sudden 2 years into the thing, it's gone. So I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
So keep me updated. Anyway.
But I mean, he should just do literally everything he can probably before leaving that land.
I know. Isn't that scary? 5 years.
That's really scary. Oh, man.
You have heard Corinne and I talk about Quince before, but truly, it's our favorite. We love it. They have amazing clothes. They have amazing home goods, truly everything. And the best summer pieces are the ones that you end up wearing on repeat, which is why we love Quince. They make elevated essentials using premium materials like European linen, organic cotton, and washable silk. But the best part is it's without the traditional retail markup. So Quince's 100% European linen pants, dresses, and tops are the pieces you'll reach for all summer long. They're lightweight, effortless to style, and they start at just $32. They also have beautiful 14 karat gold jewelry. My earrings that I'm wearing are from Quince. I never take them out. And yeah, truly the best part is that everything at Quince is priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. And they do that by working directly with ethical factories to cut out the middleman, so you're paying for exceptional quality, not brand markup. So make your summer wardrobe feel easier. Go to quince.com/TGOG for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/TGOG for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/TGOG. Okay, well, I have a story called Curses and Evil Men,
Oh, great.
and it's from our listener, Autumn. Hey, Ghost Sisters. Happy Halloween and Dia de los Muertos. I started listening to Two Girls, One Ghost about 2 years ago while I was living and traveling in my car. I would be in Arizona or New Mexico driving in the middle of the night listening to encounters of flesh pedestrians. So thanks for keeping me awake.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to sleep either.
Listening to your podcast has helped me understand and revisit a very specific occurrence in my childhood. And content warning, the main villain in my story is a human, a living man who abused my mom, myself, and my siblings for most of our childhood. And I couldn't tell this story without mentioning that. So just content warning for anyone who's listening. Autumn says, I blocked out this part of my childhood for years, so the timeline's a bit wonky, but I do remember being in high school and my siblings were in middle school, so probably around 2016 and 2017. My mom left her husband, my sibling's dad, of almost 10 years because he cheated. Again, he was always an abuser, and the abuse only got worse from there. He would stalk her and threaten to hurt her almost every day of her life after she left. He would run her car off the road, threaten to take my siblings away from her. And one day, my mom did not come home until late in the night, and she came back with blood on her lower body.
Oh my God. See, we say don't curse people, but like these are the type of people that curses are meant for.
Yeah. I later found out he abducted her and held her at gunpoint and assaulted her. And this was around the same time he was also sexually abusing me, and my mom didn't know about it.
Oh my God, I want to throw up.
It's horrible. Okay, now for the ghost story. So after this happened, he didn't bother us for a while, and my mom got super depressed, lost her job, and started drinking a lot. My little family shared a room in my grandma's house. It was this big room with one huge bed where my mom slept and bunk beds for me and my sibling. And then my youngest sibling slept downstairs with grandma. One night, I heard my mom kind of mumble in her sleep and rustle under her sheet like she was fighting something. I didn't think much of it, but I started to notice this was happening every night for weeks, anytime she would sleep in that room. Sometimes I would try to wake her up because she would scream so loud and I could see her tugging on her blanket.
Oh.
She started saying, "Go away, leave me alone, no." Again, it was so loud that sometimes even my grandma would come upstairs to check on us. In the mornings, we would ask my mom what she was hearing and seeing, and she said she saw a lady in a white gown with very long hair covering her face. My mom continued to say that she didn't want to hurt me, but that she wanted to play. While my mom was playing with the lady in the gown, me and my siblings were having intense sleep paralysis almost every night. My two siblings saw the same man in black with a hat. He would just stand next to them and look in their direction. I sometimes saw that figure, but one Christmas I woke up to what I believe was his shadow holding a knife, making stabbing motions toward my body.
Oh my God.
But most of my sleep paralysis was me listening to my mom scream and being unable to move to help her. My grandma started to hear an owl at least once a week since the lady in the gown entered our home. And my grandpa would have episodes where his vision would go red, as he puts it, and he would feel like he was sensing the devil. Again, this is all happening to everyone in this house all at once.
Yeah.
This went on for some months. So back to my mom's evil ex-husband. In 2019, he had a stroke that almost killed him. He believed it was God giving him a second chance, so he tried to repent for all the nasty things he had done. And he confessed to my mom that he had actually put a curse on her. I can't remember exactly what he wished upon her, but the gist was that he wanted her to have an unhappy life. He said he did this at the exact same time we started experiencing paranormal shit.
That's so upsetting. And it's also like, you've said it before recently, where like when a curse happens, there's supposed to be something that happens to the person that puts the
enacts
curse.
it. Yeah.
And I know he almost died, but I feel like there needs to be a lot more happening to him
100%.
to make up for all of the karmically
Disgusting
bad
things
things that are happening.
Yeah. Evil man. Autumn says, I want to thank you too because I understand a part of my childhood a little bit better and appreciate the spirits who were sent to harm us, but instead just spooked us a little bit. I believe the universe and the realms and the spirits chose to actually protect my family and punish the cursor. Since then, he has had a stroke, multiple surgeries, lost his job, and ability to work. He lost contact with one of my siblings, and everything he did to me came to light. And more recently, he was even shot by his own brother. I don't believe in God, but I do believe the lady in the gown, and I thank her. I think she did genuinely say she wanted to play with my mom and like was showing up in like a positive way. Thinking about it now, maybe the bruja he asked to curse us actually cursed him. So shout out to La Bruja.
I mean, like if someone is practicing that type of witchcraft and like maybe is connected to the other side, I feel like that's actually kind of a pretty sweet. This is like the Dexter of witches.
For
where
sure.
like, you know, bad people come and they're like, I need to curse my ex-wife or my ex-girlfriend, blah, 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 blah. And then like she has spirits telling her
The real
all
story.
the horrible things that this person has done. And she's like, okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to drink this tincture. You're going to do this little dance. And it all
little
comes
wiggle.
for them. Like she's attacking the bad men.
If I had those powers, that's how I'd use them.
Oh, me too. Bye-bye.
My mom now has never been happier. She has a really good job, and her and I are finally building trust and love for each other. I've moved away from my hometown to finally figure out who I am on my own. And I'm serious when I say y'all have helped me believe in myself and my mind because you helped me view the other realm as just another world with spirits who were once human. And sometimes they are good. I didn't mention any names or where this took place because my siblings and most of my family does not know about this curse or the things the man has done to us. I am Mexican, and some stories we just don't share. But this is my story to tell, and so I will tell it. Thank you again, and hope you enjoy it. See you on the other side, friends. Autumn.
Wow. Autumn, I am so sorry for everything that you went through.
Horrible.
That is just, horrific series of events. But
like, I'm so glad that you and your family are experiencing the joy and happiness that you deserve and that he is experiencing shit.
You guys get to come together. You get to rebuild. You get to know that even when bad spirits maybe are sent to you, that they realize that this is the wrong target.
Yeah. And also, I really genuinely believe people who are just angry or consumed with like evil, they are rotting from the inside out.
Oh, and I wish people like that guy just
perished,
dropped dead. And I will not apologize for that. Okay, I have an email that includes a cursed object, but there's some other stuff too.
Love it.
Hello, Corinne and Sabrina. I recently emailed you about spooky stories from family members. However, this morning while I was listening to your podcast and doing dishes, I realized how many other weird stories I have, and I've never shared them before until now. I have pretty vivid memories of my childhood, even all the way back to when I was an infant in my crib.
You can remember that?
Some memories I look back on fondly, like when my grandfather, who I lovingly called Papa, picked me up from daycare early just to take me to the movie theater to see Bambi and get ice cream after.
That's such a special memory.
Yeah. And while some memories are not so great, like when I was a baby and thrust my arms into a giant window frame full of spiders while crawling around on the back porch, only to then hear my mom scream bloody murder, which gave me arachnophobia, as you can imagine, there are some memories that I have wondered what the hell they're about. Specifically the ones involving my participation in the Gifted and Talented program during my early elementary school years.
Wait, where should we put our tinfoil hats on for that?
Yeah, we should. Until I came across a random video on the Gateway program on social media one day over a year ago, and I was floored. I had no idea how much I repressed these memories until then.
Holy bananas.
The beeping introduction sounds heard during the headphone sessions, which I later learned were the same sounds on the Gateway tapes from the Monroe Institute.
Wait, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm probably mispronouncing it, but the Zener cards or Zener cards, Zener cards, which was the most common thing I remember doing in the program. The pink liquid that I had to drink at the end.
What?
Wait, what? I don't know about that.
We do need to do a whole episode about that because we did the Gateway tapes. But we didn't do the conspiracy about the gate program.
Right. Yeah, you need to do like a much delayed part 2.
Ah,
She writes, the pink liquid I had to drink at the end before laying down on the ground with the other kids. I only remember 3 other kids with me.
this is crazy.
This is scary. If I were a parent and I heard that this was happening to my child, I'd be freaked the
But
fuck
this is
out.
the thing is like parents were told like your child is gifted. So
So what is this mystery drink you're making them drink and then lay down on the ground?
I don't know. I think parents didn't ask questions. They're like, oh, my child's in the gifted program.
Yeah, you think that they're just
bragging.
doing like advanced math in the corner.
Yeah.
The dimmed lighting, the mind games, the puzzles, the meditations. At the time, I didn't think of it as meditating. I more just thought of it as relaxing. And one that I haven't heard anyone else talk about was the red lighted electrical board. This board was a large electrical panel with knobs and lights, and I had to guess where the lights would be and when.
No way.
I often wondered why I was taken out of class to do these things, especially since the smartest kids in my class never came with me. Once I relocated to another school after we moved, and I never did the program again. So I called my mother and I asked her all about it. And she said she remembers getting a letter in the mail about me joining the program, and she felt really proud because I was considered gifted or talented. She said they sent her another letter on saying how good I was doing in the program and was making excellent progress.
That is what? Oh my gosh.
She never knew exactly what I was doing, as they never told her, and she trusted the school enough to just believe that I was given a purely educational experience that was for my benefit. Around the time I was in kindergarten, I had to have surgery for tonsil removal. I distinctly remember floating to the top of the ceiling in the operating room, looking down at my little body, hooked to all these wires and lines, and I floated out of the room, and then I saw my grandfather, Papa. He was crying outside in the waiting area and wiping his eyes. I had the thought that maybe I should go back to my body, and then I remembered kind of groggily waking up, which had to have been much later than when I went back into my body. My mother confirmed years later that yes, my grandfather was there. He was sitting outside the operating room crying while I had my tonsils removed. Oh,
damn.
This was the first out-of-body experience that I have memory of. The second one happened when I was 15 in my basement bedroom one night. Most nights I kept my bedroom lamp on and I went to bed, which is how I was able to see what I saw that night. I remember floating to the top of my bedroom ceiling and seeing a tiny black dot. I kept floating and I went through the ceiling into the floor above me where the living room was, and I even saw the nails in the hardwood floor as I passed through. Oh my God, I never considered that.
Well, now I'm so curious because the fact that she has so many memories from like infancy, is that because she's like, what came first? Like, did the GATE program make her be able to remember things, or was she always able to see things and have these experiences, and that's why she
went into
the GATE program?
That's interesting. It'd be hard to know, like, oh, suddenly I have these memories when you're so young.
When your body's so young.
Like you're not thinking like, oh, it's a recovered memory.
Right. I don't know.
Wow.
But if I were in charge of the GATE program, I would have picked you too, based on all of this.
I kept floating and I went through the roof of the house until I was outside looking face down upon my yard, and we had a non-working old gas lamp in our driveway, but now it was lit and it was glowing with this bright light illuminating the night. I kept floating higher and higher, and the moment that I had this apprehensive, almost fearful thought about how high I was going, I was suddenly back in my body.
What the heck?
That morning, I wondered what really happened, and then I remembered the tiny black dot. So I stood up on my bed, and I strained myself to be as tall as I possibly could in order to see if there was a black dot. And there it was. From that moment on, I believed in out-of-body experiences.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay, now on to my cursed object story. My grandmother, who I lovingly called Dee ever since I was a baby, was an interesting woman. Born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana, she was the first of 9 generations of women in her family to leave Louisiana for good. She moved around and had lived in Washington, California, Texas, and Louisiana again before settling down in Georgia. Not only was she an amazing cook, oh man, this is making me so hungry. We forgot to order lunch.
Grits. I know. We'll order after this. You love shrimps. Shrimps and grits.
I love shrimps.
You love shrimps.
I do love shrimp and grits.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because I'm not a huge shrimp lover.
But the
combo.
Whenever we were in the South, I feel like that was your order.
Every day I ordered shrimp and grits. It's so good. Not only was she an amazing cook, but she was also smart as a whip and had a degree in nursing, She was well versed in law and was an ordained minister.
Okay.
And though she never led a congregation, she did do house blessings. And there were a couple of times where she would bring me along to do a house blessing. Both of these times I will never forget.
That is so cool.
The first one was at a house from a lady from our church. After entering the house, I watched my grandmother walk around, and when she came across something that bothered her spirit, she would point it out. And in this case, she told the lady she needed to remove multiple African masks, some Egyptian items, and a few pieces of jewelry. There was a big frosted chocolate cake in the center of the dining room table, and the lady noticed me looking at it, so she offered me a
Yum.
slice. And of course, I said yes. I was a chubby 9-year-old with a big sweet tooth.
I absolutely love that this woman just had a full-blown chocolate cake on the center of her dining room table. I want that to be part of who I am.
You just
I always have like
cake.
a beautiful cake ready to go.
I also can never, ever think of chocolate cake or sweet chocolate cake without associating it to Tilda. To
Tilda. No, I can't either. Bruce.
It was what my grandmother did next that still haunts me. She quickly came up beside me, squeezed my arm, looked at me with her "don't say another word" look, and told the lady I already had something sweet before we came. I don't need any more sugar. Once the lady went back into her kitchen, I protested to her. I had not had anything sweet that day. And immediately, my grandmother bent down and scarily whispered in my ear, "Don't ask again and don't ask why. Do not even touch the cake. Don't touch anything in this house. Do you understand?" I froze with fear. She has never spoken to me in that way. I knew that this was serious business, but I could not understand why a harmless-looking cake posed such a threat. After the woman removed the items from the house, reluctantly, I might add, my grandmother walked around saying prayers and anointing the doors and windows with all of her oil. Once we got into the car and had driven down the road, I mustered up the courage to ask her why she didn't want me to touch the cake. She told me again I should not be asking about it, that I needed to be an adult to understand. It could frighten me. Years later, I asked my mother about it, and she told me it was most likely that those items were cursed or had some sort of spiritual attachment, and my grandmother probably presumed the cake had absorbed some negative energy from those items in the house, which makes more sense than what my childhood brain imagined, which was that this cake was poisoned by the lady.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
Poisoned with evil spirit.
The second time my grandmother brought me with her to a house blessing was when I was a young teenager. It was the house of my grandmother's employer, who was a lawyer, whose 2 daughters I had grown up with, which later became our house. Oh, interesting.
You go over, do a blessing, kick the ghost and the family out, and then you take the house.
Did you bless the house or did you curse the family and leave the house? He was newly married, and his wife kept having strange things happen in the house. Most of what she said was whispered out of earshot, so I didn't really catch it all. My grandmother walked around the house and instantly spotted a cursed object. Again, it was a large African mask hanging up in their guest bedroom. This item had cultural significance to the wife. She tried explaining this to my grandmother, along with the fact that it was something that she had bought when she was in Africa. It meant a lot to her. Even still, my grandmother was insistent that the mask had to go. After they bagged it up and threw it in the garbage outside, my grandmother walked around and blessed the house with her prayers and anointing oil. But that was not the last of it. Days later, we were back at the house again. This time, trying to burn the mask in a smoker that they had on the back porch, and apparently a garbage truck would not pick this bag up during trash collection, which is why they were now trying to burn it.
Which is also wild.
That's so weird.
Because it's probably in the bin.
Like, you don't see it. It's
right.
Yeah, it's in a trash bag.
Covered. In a bin, yeah.
But this is the one bag that just kept getting left.
Yeah.
The flames on the mask were now green and weird looking. We went back inside as it burned, and when we checked a while later, the fire had gone out, but the mask was still intact, and it had no evidence of being burned at all.
That's wild.
Now everyone is clearly spooked, especially the wife of my grandmother's boss. My grandmother suggested throwing it away in the garbage again, so they did, and we left. Later that same week, I overheard my grandmother telling my grandfather what had happened, and they spoke about it on the phone with the couple, and the mask mysteriously showed back up out of the trash inside their house. So they then decided that they should bury it in their backyard, hoping it would stay buried. Years later, when the house was for sale, my grandparents bought it. This was the same house where I experienced my astral projection, and saw the bottom part of a female apparition at my window.
What the heck?
I never felt comfortable going into the backyard as I knew what was there, hopefully rotting underground. And a few times I'd driven past it as an adult and wondered, who lives there? Have they had any strange experiences in the house? I especially wondered if that cursed mask is still buried in the yard or if someone has already dug it up, not knowing what they've released. Stay spooky with love,
Jeez.
Elena.
That's also so scary because the fact that she knew that was in the
Mhm.
backyard, like at least you have some knowledge, but not knowing. And then imagine doing some gardening out in your backyard
Right.
and unearthing that.
And it like just reappearing. It's so weird because it's like that at first I'm like, okay, well, the grandma is clearing like 2 out of 2 houses, both African masks. There were some other
Right.
artifacts like Egyptian
Yeah.
and stuff, but it made me think of the Crown of Catskills
Yeah.
and Greg and Dana's work and like the object's anger with being taken from where it belongs, like
It's like cultural
culturally.
appropriation. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like that kind of manifested in what appeared to be an evil way, but
Right.
like really it could be fixed by just being
Returning it or
returning it.
Yeah. I don't
But
know.
then the mask like continuing to try. It's not like not trying to escape.
No, it's coming back.
Yeah. It's trying to live in the house again.
Which reminds me of the movie
Interesting.
The Mask. Where it just like
Jim Carrey.
gets stuck on his face
Yeah.
forever. Trying to Jeepers Creepers you. Where'd you get those eyes?
You know, we're a ghost story podcast, so sometimes that means you get a little scared at night. But we have something for you to tuck your toes into at night. A mattress, Casper. This podcast is sponsored by Casper, and Casper makes reliable, high-quality mattresses designed to deliver consistent, comfortable sleep night after night. That's why out of 99 mattresses, Consumer Reports named Casper's the one mattress, their top rated all foam mattress of 2026. And that's a big deal. It's also my new favorite because I just got the Hybrid Dream mattress from Casper and it's a dream. Truly. I've been talking about getting a new mattress, and if you have been too, let me tell you, now is the time with Casper's back to school sale. You can head to casper.com and save up to 20% on the mattress you deserve. And Casper has their 100-night risk-free trial, so you can give Casper's mattress a try risk-free. They also offer a wide range of mattress types, so whether you like your mattress firm, soft, or somewhere in between, there is a mattress for you at casper.com. Remember, the day always ends well with Casper. Right now, save up to 20% on mattresses and up to 25% on everything else when you go to casper.com. One last time, that's CASPER.com and save up to 20% on the mattress you deserve.
I have one to end us on, and it has multiple like updates that our listener has sent to us.
Oh, great.
It's from our listener, Celia, and it is called A Haunting Across Lives.
Wow.
Hey, ghouls, I have a story to tell, and I'll try to be as concise as possible because so much has happened. I was born in Peru and conceived around the time that my parents visited the Nazca Lines, which I recommend Googling if you haven't heard of. A lot of paranormal and alien theories come from that region.
Ooh. Have you written this down?
I have, yes.
Okay.
My dad swears that he saw shadow figures swirling around my mom and her stomach when she was dancing in the headlights of the car in the middle of the night. This is like around the time that Celia was conceived. It spooked him so much that he even shot a gun in the air to scare off the energy.
Does that work?
I don't know. She said, it probably spooked my mom even more.
Yeah.
Fast forward 2 years later when we lived in Colorado, and all of a sudden I started experiencing horrific night terrors and I stopped sleeping. Like it got so bad that I went days on end without sleeping and would wake up screaming bloody murder whenever they would get me down. I was too young to explain why I was so scared. She's 2 years old when this is happening.
Mm.
I was too young to be able to explain why I was so scared, but apparently everyone in my family was concerned. At the time, my dad did business advertising for an herbal medicine shop for a Native American shaman and decided to take the whole family up to the mountains for the day to get away and to pick up a check from this group. We're all hippies in my family, so apparently the thought of a pediatrician never crossed their minds, which I'm grateful for. The shaman didn't know he was bringing the whole family, but when we pulled up the driveway, he immediately came out of the shop and walked directly to me in the back seat. He told my family that he sensed a presence coming up the driveway as he heard the car coming. He said he could take care of it. So he went to me in the car seat, rubbed my head while chanting something in his native language, and then told my family that I had a bright light / energy / aura around me and that I needed to be very careful because negative energies were attracted to that type of energy and wanted to feed off of it.
Wow.
When they looked back in the car after that, I was asleep and I slept for over 24 hours straight.
What? That
Yeah.
would freak me out.
But also be like, wow, at least we know this man
Yeah.
to help. Throughout my life after that, I started experiencing sleep paralysis pretty regularly, and it got pretty bad when I was in college. I had a few experiences of things moving around my apartment, hearing strange sounds, but I always brush it off as my own misperception. Then I moved into a new place with roommates, and that's when I started being visited by a shadow figure in the corner of my room, and that's when the sleep paralysis would happen. It was scary, but I've also been very intrigued by the occult and paranormal, so I didn't make a huge deal of it, and I researched how typical it was for people to have sleep paralysis. Okay, and this next part is somewhat shameful for me to talk about, but as the spirit started moving closer to me in my room, I also started feeling sexually aroused by it and kind of enjoyed it. I started becoming withdrawn from my friends and would choose to stay home and spend time with it rather than going out so much. And I know that's weird and not smart after the warning I was given as a child, but it's just what I wanted to do. And then weird things started happening to my friends. Like bananas would fly 10 feet across the room and be smashed on the floor behind my roommate. Really heavy chairs would be slammed on the ground. And I finally got scared too when I noticed physical changes in myself. Like I started vomiting black bile.
Oh, that's so serious.
My skin and lips became so dry that no amount of lotion or chapstick could cure it. I also felt the blanket being pulled off of me, breathing on my neck, and I even felt something grab my foot one time.
It's trying so hard to isolate her.
Yeah, and it was working at first.
Yeah.
That was when I finally realized I was in trouble. So I told my parents, and my mom pulled me into what she called spiritual boot camp. I stayed at her house for a while. I started going to her non-denominational church, did a sage cleansing, and she found a shaman in the area that was recommended to her by a friend. The shaman did a crystal cord cutting ritual and told me that I had several entities attached to me and that the most powerful one I was seeing actually followed me through various past lives where it had been tormenting me and had been following me since then. It left me open to this energy without any protection, possibly even why my dad saw something dancing around my mom's womb before I was ever born. At this point, I will say I'm a mental health clinician with a graduate degree in counseling psychology, and I try to be as much of a skeptic / scientist as possible with this stuff, but this ceremony that the shaman did actually helped me so much, and all of it stopped. Even my roommates
Wow.
stopped experiencing strange things in our home. And I've been presently binging Ghosted by Roz and your Two Girls, One Ghost podcast. But then this past week, I've been woken up in a panic every
No.
single morning at 3 a.m. And last night it was so bad that I was too scared to even pee.
No, I hate it because I feel like
I
we're
know.
to blame slightly.
But it's like
And
opening
Roz
yourself
as
back
well.
up to it all.
Right.
Right.
Because you're thinking about it.
Yes.
You're enjoying it.
So I took the day off work today and I'm going to stage the house again. I'm going to make an amulet, and I'm sorry to say I will probably take a break from Spooky Podcasts for a bit.
Yeah, we understand.
I adore you all, but I'm a little too sensitive and a little too prone to becoming obsessive about stuff like this since it's so fascinating to me. Feel free to use my story and my name, but it might be a while before I actually listen to it. Okay, update. I wrote this in the Facebook group a few weeks back, but since then I've continued to wake up frightened at 3. And once I even had a bruise on my face as if I had been punched in my sleep. I've had technology malfunctions around me left and right, and the weirdest of which was my boyfriend's music on his old school iPod totally rearranging itself, which was weird. And my boyfriend had a weird night where he was snoring abnormally loudly, so I nudged him, and he smothered my face with a pillow. We got in a big fight because I thought he was awake and I couldn't get him off of me. But suddenly he just stopped and went back to sleep peacefully, and the next day he had no recollection of it.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
You know what I don't like is how much other people around this listener are being influenced.
Celia,
It's like,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Celia's friend, Celia's boyfriend, like everyone else is
Yeah.
kind of being controlled in a way.
So now we got another update. I thought you ladies might be interested in getting an update on this story. I saw a shaman this weekend who told me that I'm a spiritual portal. And in the beginning, she said she saw me in a dark place, like a cave, with no light coming out because there were many smaller dark entities and one larger one that were holding my power spiritually hostage,
Huh.
which is basically the same thing the last shaman said to me. And these two had never met each other. They're complete strangers. So it's interesting that multiple people are saying the same thing. She asked about my relationship to my name because she could feel that it wasn't actually my own. which I found so interesting because I've never actually felt a strong attachment to my name since almost everyone in my life pronounces it differently. She then went in depth into my past lives, trying to figure out how I had gotten trapped in this spiritual captivity, and 2 lives stood out to her. The first, she saw me practicing black magic as a witch who had been told never to have a child, but apparently I disobeyed. And apparently, according to her, in this past life, I killed my child with an obsidian blade to release the evil from the child's body. She figured out that I wasn't trying to sacrifice him, but was rather trying to save him from the evil that I had knowingly and regretfully conjured. She said this.
Or was this postpartum psychosis?
Right. She said that this darkness came from an even earlier life, though. And in that life, she saw me as a pure light. But I was surrounded by Egyptian men wearing masks of the gods like Horus, begging for my life. But they were intent on punishing me for a sin I committed. She said that they cursed me to hell for eternity, literally in her first life, like going back to Egyptian times. Sensing my uneasiness, she then assured me that there's actually no such thing as time, and this was something she could save me from. So this like curse to hell for all of eternity, she could help. She then asked her spirit guides whether it would be a good idea to release me from my spiritual captors or not. Her hesitation was that I'm very powerful and chose to use it for darkness in the past, which could cause an energy shift that could impact people around me if not harnessed correctly. While she was meditating and chanting on this, we heard 3 loud knocks coming from the ceiling, and I felt immense pressure on my chest and started having difficulty breathing.
Wow.
To which this shaman whispered, "They're here."
Oh my God.
As she was discussing the importance of using my spiritual power for good rather than evil, if we do go through this, all I heard in my head was a voice screaming, "Don't believe her, don't believe her, don't believe her." It was so loud that I had to stop the shaman because it was causing me such a bad headache. And she said she simultaneously heard laughing and howling in her own mind. The room got so heavy and hot that I couldn't breathe, and she said that her spirit guides saw so much good in me that they thought I was ready.
This is terrifying.
It's like good and evil really like fighting, and it's like, who do you trust?
Right. And this does feel like a movie. Like this feels like a scene from like an animated movie because it's almost
so
too much to picture in this reality.
Right. She then started the process of releasing the spirit's hold on me. She then started breathing on me, hissing, chanting, making all sorts of noises, which frankly, I'm not even sure if they all came from her or if they were from other presences in the room. I began shaking. I vomited. I was sweating. But once the ritual was over, the room became lighter, colder, and the smell was more pleasant. And I felt this extreme exhaustion overpower my body, and I fell back on the bed. She said that was all that my spirit could handle for now, and the smaller entities were banished. But however, it would likely take more sessions to release the powerful one that had such control over me for so many lifetimes. I felt so strongly connected to and understood by her, and felt so much lighter in spirit that I will definitely continue seeing her and developing my spiritual energy for the healing of myself and those around me.
This is one silver lining of this whole experience, right?
Yeah.
It's like this connection to the shaman who appears to be quite knowledgeable and powerful.
Yeah, like lucky you found her.
Yeah, so lucky.
And then the last update we got, this is all back from 2019, so we haven't gotten updates since 2019. But Celia said, recently we experienced 3 deaths of loved ones. And within a week of each of them dying, I received messages from all of them. On the day of my partner's grandpa's funeral, we came back to find pennies all over our room, like lots of them. Pennies from heaven is a huge thing online, and people believe loved ones send messages to say they're okay with pennies. Then my uncle died, and he visited me while I was in an astral dream. He was glowing, smiling, and waving goodbye to me as I flew over a mountain. And then my best friend's stepdad died, and I was playing with a ghost detector app for the first time. And the first thing it said was James, which is his name. I also happened to be texting my friend at the exact moment, so I knew that message was for her. A few years in the past, I also visited my other deceased uncle and great-grandmother in astral dream. In that one, I flew into a meadow, and a fairy-like woman led me to a house that I instinctively knew was Peruvian. And she said, "Wait, you're not supposed to be here yet, but we'll let you stay for a while."
Aww.
And in that house, I saw my family members around a table. All of them had been deceased for many years. But I was filled with so much love that I woke up in actual tears.
Oh my gosh. And what a beautiful glimpse at like what
I
your
know.
experience might be the first time you go to the other side.
That's from Celia.
Wow, Celia.
Cursed
Like,
in a
what
past life.
What do I even say to this? Like, yeah, cursed in a past life, maybe your first life. So powerful in just like understanding the spirit world and interacting with
Yeah.
it regardless of the curse,
Right.
which is so cool.
But it also, like, there's, I mean, I think most people who are open in this way, mediums, say that like, there's like pros and cons.
Yeah.
Like when you're opening yourself up, sometimes that opens yourself up to negative things.
Well, and sometimes it opens people that you're friends with or dating
Yeah.
or love up to those things as well.
I wouldn't mind if a banana was thrown at me.
Yeah, but it is kind of creepy. Just like the whole progression of
I know.
trying to keep her home and then remove other
I
people
know.
and gain her trust. And then it's almost like she didn't react quickly enough or like escalate as
Mhm.
quickly as the thing wanted her to. So then it started getting angry and being more aggressive.
But Celia did the right thing where, because at first she was intrigued by it,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't blame her. I'm like, ooh, well, I want to know more about this.
Yeah,
But then the
boyfriend.
second it was like impacting her physical body, she was
Mhm.
like, oh, this
This
is
is something
bad
bad.
and I need to get help.
Right.
Whereas in a lot of other cases, people get to that point and it's too late,
Mm-hmm.
or they're so isolated they don't go to anyone.
This did also make me wonder about, okay, so I totally believe in reincarnation,
Same.
but like when did we first, as our souls are now, start incarnating? Because it's like,
I know. I don't know.
what about Neanderthals?
Well,
What existed in them? What is it? What is in us now? Because it feels like even the furthest back that people can talk about, it's still much more modern day human.
right. Well, does consciousness exist within just cells? And the same way that like as we learn and knowledge grows, our consciousnesses grow with it?
But like, is our consciousness tied to one type of being? Like almost like if we were aliens, like are
Right.
we taking over more recently, like this consciousness, and there was a different consciousness that existed before?
Well, then a bigger question is consciousness, is our consciousness reserved for Earth or is it universal? So then could we be reincarnating on other planets?
And then what was in the dinosaurs?
That would be really sick if like a past life was a dinosaur.
You're like, I don't remember much except screaming all the time and flying through the air.
Yeah.
Pterodactyl?
That'd be pretty fun.
I don't know. It's trippy.
I have a question. I would like to think that I could reincarnate as a cat because that sounds pretty
Yeah.
luxurious.
Well, and different
house cat.
cultures and religions do believe that,
Right.
Play cards, right? You might get to be a cow.
See, I just don't understand. We don't know.
Yeah.
But we do know that you should not put curses on people unless they deserve it. And you can also curse at people who deserve it. And you can also just curse if you want, but don't curse people who don't deserve it. Lots of rules.
There's some, I've already lost track. Use your best judgment when cursing.
Don't curse us, please. But if you've been cursed or if you know someone who has, please email us about it because we want to hear. Email us at twogirlsoneghostpodcast@gmail.com. We also want any of your paranormal stories. Send them to us. And then if you want to join us on Patreon, you get episodes 1 week early and ad-free, plus bonus content, plus Switch class, plus book, all the things.
So many things.
There's so many things that I can't even speak them. You just got to go join it and you'll find out.
Thank you to Jamie Ryan, who edits and produces our podcast.
And we love you all so very much.
And we will see you on the other side.